The Street Fighter franchise has been entertaining video game players for nearly 35 years now, with an ever-evolving cast of characters and attacks inspired by the countries and cultures of the world. We're naturally drawn to wonder which of Street Fighter's many attacks are among the most powerful, and so we've put together a list of 5 of the absolute most devastating maneuvers in all of Street Fighter. Please take a moment to hit subscribe and psycho crush the like button, and then let's jump into the countdown. Number 5. The Shin Shoryuken. The Shin Shoryuken, or True Rising Dragon Fist, is the most powerful version of Street Fighter's iconic uppercut attack. It made its debut in Street Fighter III as one of Ryu's supers and has had many appearances since, including in Street Fighter IV as Goken's first Ultra. There are many versions of the Shoryuken across Street Fighter games, but only when the technique is performed perfectly is it the Shin version. Though animations vary slightly from game to game, this attack typically starts out with a gnarly gut check to knock the wind out of an opponent and ensure they are completely unable to defend against the ensuing uppercut to the jaw. The first attack is to be landed without the user leaving the ground, and when timed correctly, will often cause an animation sequence to play out that brutally exemplifies just how hard this move hits. If mistimed, however, the attack technically turns into the Forbidden Shoryuken, which is a less effective, multi-hitting version that doesn't cause an animation to occur. Ryu had this maneuver in Street Fighter V in the EX version of his Dragon Punch, and we already know that it's coming back as one of his 3 super attacks in Street Fighter VI. If there's one attack you don't want to get hit by in real life, it's the Shin Shoryuken. Number 4. The Final Psycho Crusher. The Psycho Crusher maneuver is the trademark attack of the franchise's most notable main villain, M. Bison. He hurls himself through the air at his foe after infusing himself with a large amount of psycho power, which emits from his body in the form of blue and/or purple flames. Psycho power is an energy which feeds off of the fear, anger, and hatred of others, things Bison tends to spread in droves wherever he goes, so it's never in short supply when he wants to let this powerful attack rip. And according to the Street Fighter manga, the Psycho Crusher uses 40 grams of psycho power, however you'd measure that. But regardless, this amount of psycho power is enough for the manga to deem it a one-hit kill attack. Now obviously Psycho Crusher isn't a one-hit kill in any of the games because, well, that would be broken, but we will say that it was absolutely ridiculous in Street Fighter II Champion Edition, as it not only would lop off about a third of your health if you blocked it, but it would also randomly cross up as Bison passed through blocking opponents. While the standard version of the Psycho Crusher is already formidable enough, it's specifically Bison's final Psycho Crusher that makes our list here. Take everything about the regular Psycho Crusher and crank it up to 11 for the super attack from Street Fighter Alpha 3. In final boss form, Bison gets special privileges and buffs, and the final Psycho Crusher is very much a buffed boss move. M. Bison warps away and then charges forward, covering the entire screen with a devastating streak of blue flames that dole out tons of damage even when they're blocked. If there is one attack you would not want to get hit by in real life, it's the final Psycho Crusher. Number 3. EX Yagyodama. You always need an old, wise hermit who looks a lot less threatening than he actually is, and for Street Fighter, that's Oro. The exceptionally old fighter is well on his way to looking more like Gollum than a normal human, but actually, he may be the single most powerful fighter in the series. Because he's not in the business of straight up murdering everyone he spars with, Oro magically binds one of his arms while fighting so as to keep things somewhat interesting. Now, Oro has a fireball called the Yagyodama that he can throw out at most any time in battle, but he also has an upgraded version of this projectile as one of his supers, the EX Yagyodama. You know the iconic Spirit Bomb from the Dragon Ball franchise? This is basically Street Fighter's version of that, as Oro leaps up into the air and summons an absolutely massive orb of ki energy to toss down at his all but certainly soon-to-be dead opponent. Pay close attention to the animation of EX Yagyodama, and you'll notice that this is one of the few techniques that Oro actually uses both of his hands for, which by itself says quite a lot. It almost feels as if the old hermit is hurling the sun at you. And we know one thing for sure, if there is just one move from this list that you would not want to get hit by in real life, it's the EX Yagyodama. Number 2. Seraphic Wing. While M. Bison is the most recognizable baddie in Street Fighter, Gil is arguably even more powerful. The messianic figure carries godly and angelic themes with him, and thus the kinds of attacks he's doing are almost all of another worldly nature. For this brutal super, Gil gets his inner Seraphim on by floating to the center of the stage, sprouting 6 white angel wings, and then unleashing circular waves of ridiculously powerful angel energy that cover the entire screen. In its initial Street Fighter III appearance, Seraphic Wing cannot be parried, takes off about 25% health when blocked, and can result in an instant KO on hit. The move made a second appearance in Street Fighter V with some slight updates to make it more appropriate for competitive play, and requires Gil to first make contact with his opponent with a large orb that he manifests in front of him, before going into an animation similar to what we see in Street Fighter III. This is one of the absolute most powerful characters in all of Street Fighter, calling on angelic abilities to melt life bars. If there's one attack you don't want to get hit by in real life, it's the number 1, Raging Demon. While the Hadoken and the Shoryuken are easily the most recognizable attacks in all of Street Fighter, the Raging Demon, or the Shun Goku Satsu, which translates roughly to instant prison murder, is often regarded as the matter-of-fact most powerful attack in the series. Capcom used the Raging Demon to very effectively introduce Akuma and establish him as one of the most powerful and important characters to the franchise. Fans first saw him performing this maneuver on M. Bison at the end of Super Street Fighter II Turbo. Now, seeing this move that could so quickly and effectively take out the game's main bad guy left a lasting impression on most everyone who experienced it in this way. When a character performs the Raging Demon, they glide over the ground toward their opponent and clasp onto them via an unblockable grab. Now, once their prey is in their grasp, the screen turns either completely white or black, and they fire off a countless barrage of lightning-fast attacks all in one instant. Though technically physical in nature, the Raging Demon is fueled via the weight of sins and evil the victim has committed during their lifetime, essentially turning the force of all the negative things they've ever done into a direct attack on their very soul. It's pretty metal. Most beings can't even perform the Raging Demon without being consumed by its power themselves, but the few who can have an insanely destructive, soul-destroying technique at their disposal. If there's one attack you definitely don't want to get hit by in real life, it's the Raging Demon. And that's it. That's our list. What do you think? Those of you who agree, feel free to tell us how right we were in the comments. And those of you who think that there are other moves that more deserve to be on the list than these, feel free to tell us how wrong we were in the comments. If you enjoyed this and want to see more, be sure to subscribe for more EventHubs fighting game content, and we'll see you in the next video.